You're listening to the audio portion of Workshop Wednesdays. Workshop Wednesdays is a free live discussion about topics affecting accountants, bookkeepers, and business owners. You can join the ABBO group in Facebook to participate live Wednesdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. Just search for ABBO in Facebook. This podcast is brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com, where you will learn, grow, and build a thriving bookkeeping practice. We have hundreds of lessons with almost every aspect of the industry. Start your free month today at Schoolofbookkeeping.com. Welcome to another Workshop Wednesday. Where is it? There it is. Okay. I had to find the right thing to click on here. Workshop Wednesday, casual conversations for serious workflows. And you freaked me out there for a second there, Shanna, because you left and came back while you were running around while the video was counting down.
I was letting my cat out.
Okay. Duty calls when the cat needs instructions or taken care of.
Yeah.
But this workshop is brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com, where you can keep learning QuickBooks your way. And as you have noticed, this is the continuing saga of job costing series that we're doing with the job costing ninja, Shanna Quinn. How are you?
My hands come out of picture when I try to do that. Right? I am doing good. I am doing good. I wish we had some cooler weather here, but doing good.
All right. Before we begin, I wanted to share a thought or a blog article, update, whatever we want to call this. Shauna and I, we attended the Intuit Connect Intuit conference a couple weeks ago, and Intuit was very heavy on the message of artificial intelligence and this whole concept of AI plus HI, where it's Intuit intelligence is what the branded AI is going to be, combined with humans, right? So we have this idea of the artificial intelligence that's doing the bulk of the heavy lifting when it comes to the client work or the tasks that are easily repeatable, and then the HI, which is the human intelligence of someone with a real brain going in and checking the work of the artificial intelligence. Shauna, since you attended, what was your takeaway with this whole idea of machines and humans working together in harmony? Which
I don't know. I just have a flashback of the Will Smith movie.
iRobot.
Yeah, iRobot. That's like what comes into my mind. Unless they do make me delicious pies, I wouldn't mind that. Especially this season. I think that AI has come a long way, and there are some true benefits to it. I use it within my firm, but I don't. Intuit better not come after me for this. I do not like Intuit's AI. I don't the change that they made to our dashboards for bank feed and all of that. I actually reverted all of mine back to Classic that it would allow me to, because it was constantly giving me this issue where it would not remember the vendor name for an expense that literally posts every single month. And it's been going to the same vendor and same expense account for 10 plus years. And so that kept messing up, or it was directing it to the wrong account, or we would enter the vendor verify expense. And then when I would go to do my month end, I'm like, how come I have all these transactions where the vendor names are missing? And I went back and redid it myself and was finding, okay, it is truly on their end. The vendor name is not sticking when I'm processing that transaction. I think the other side of it too is just for me and what I do, what we specialize in with my firm, we still heavily rely on humans to tell me that Home Depot receipt was for this cost code and this job. And despite how amazing AI is becoming, Bill.com is not good enough to tell me that information and be accurate all the time. And receipt processing foundations or applications like HubDoc and even Double, those are not able to automatically grab that
Right.
information and enter that in there. So there still has to absolutely be some human intelligence.
Yeah. One of the takeaways from the conference itself was this kind of evolution of the AI agents that we're seeing inside of QuickBooks Online show up: the accounting agent, the payroll agent, the payments agent, the project management agent. They're all QuickBooks helpers, so to speak. Some of them
Right.
are marketing disguised as helpers. uh, some of them are, yeah, some of them are actual insights, supposed to be able to drive insights or anomaly detection, which is that's where things are going to really be helpful when it comes to AI. It's like, hey, the past 16 times you've categorized this particular payee as this particular account, why this one? Or hey, this month there was a huge drop or spike in a certain account. This is potentially why. Those are some of the neat things that are coming up in the AI. But just today or yesterday, within the last 24 hours,
Yeah.
there was a major announcement from Intuit. We're getting its investment with ChatGPT, which it was surprising to me, right? That, oh, they're going to be spending $100 million to fully integrate with ChatGPT. What happened in the past 4 years where they're talking about creating their own, right? Where is that coming from? Clearly, a surprise announcement. They've been working on this probably prior to Intuit Connect and continuing on after. It's not just like it's Intuit Connect.
The
They decided to switch gears and go working with ChatGPT. So I'm working on a blog article and I'm going to put it in there in the comments there because it is still a work in progress because of the most recent information made publicly available. But it boils down to human human intelligence and in artificial intelligence, and this particular investment that Intuit is making, integrating with GPT, raises a lot of questions. And for and I think question that I had at Connect with artificial intelligence is how do how you're dealing with a lot of sensitive data in a business financial perspective, right? You've got payroll in there with all the people that have social identification numbers to pay the payroll. There's EIN, there's credit card information, there's identifiable information about customers and your vendors, everything there. So I was really concerned about how that data is being used and utilized by the artificial intelligence. Is there going to potentially be a breach of that information? And I was okay with their explanation. Hey, this is all under our umbrella because Intuit is fairly good at safeguarding sensitive data from everything from tax returns to payroll. I was okay in that, with that answer. But now that things to ChatGPT, this is now opening up that door. Okay, are we really sure that just because ChatGPT has a setting that says do not share personally and do not feed the machines with this information?
Right. Keep it local within my chat.
Is that, do we trust? So maybe that's the question of the day with this topic. Do we trust ChatGPT with sensitive data? Because I know
Yeah, that's kind
that,
of scary. I think it's
yeah,
scary. I have Norton 360 and Life 360 and all that monitoring and get notifications, I think, almost on a monthly basis about potential hacks and the information of mine that could have potentially been at risk. And
right.
these are also large companies. We're talking about our local hospital. We're talking about, I think actually one of them was from a long time ago with Verizon a long time ago. So it is scary. It's based off of what we put out there. All that stuff could just be shareable, and that's
And
a little
you
terrifying.
have initially you had all of these AI companies and the CEO of OpenAI going to Congress and saying we need regulation. Nothing's happened yet. So they're basically self-regulating themselves, right? And is that, do you trust ChatGPT with potentially sensitive financial information about your business? I guess
I like
that's the
I
takeaway
like
here.
I like that blog idea. Yeah.
Yeah.
I find that it's funny that it got announced on the day that, like, what was it, cloud something that
Oh,
Chat GPT also,
Cloudflare.
yeah, uses, was like crashed.
Yeah. And I certainly understand the the reason, right, for Intuit to work with ChatGPT and invest in ChatGPT when it comes to working in AI, right? Why reinvent the wheel, right? When a lot of people, accountants included, are doing the same thing with ChatGPT, right? Like they'll homogenize or take out PDF information about the company and then maybe upload that financial file, that financial report to ChatGPT, and then provided a prompt to be able to provide that initial analysis, and then be using that to have conversations with their clients. Right? This
Mhm.
is this is not a new thing. It's just now replacing the the human piece of copy, paste, homogenize.
Right.
So again, do you trust the machines to do that the way that you would? That is a big leap of faith, I think, comes when it comes to that kind of information.
Absolutely.
So this will continue to unfold as we see see more information released, but that is where we're at today. So that's a slight diversion off topic because we want to get back to our job costing series with Shauna about capturing job costs. And we talked initially a couple weeks ago about just the foundations and talking about the converse. I can't think now that I got so worked up about AI.
You
Uh,
did.
so we talked first about the standard, the the fundamentals
Yes.
of job costing. And
Yeah.
then we talked about last week about up
Setting up.
setting it up the right way.
Yeah.
So now we're actually going to get into the, I don't want to say meat and potatoes, but because I apparently use that term or phrase too much. But let's get to the main course.
Okay. We could say the turkey and potatoes. We're almost there.
Right, since we're almost near Thanksgiving. But talking about capturing costs the right way. Shauna, what is what is your main source of truth? Where do you, most of your job costs originate with your clients? Is it certain transactions, or where do those costs come from?
The majority of them are when we're, especially on clients that we do T&M with, the time and material plus the markup, we're obviously then probably doing their billables, right? So account billable or account payable. So we're managing the bills, we're recording the bills, putting the cost code in, marking it billable, referencing the job. Expenses, because every contractor, no matter how organized and how far ahead you plan, always has to have a run to Home Depot, Lowe's, or Ace Hardware, or Sherwin Williams. There's always last minute expenses. And now, because of everything being so accessible online, a lot of material now gets purchased through online orders as opposed to a pre order of something and then receiving a bill and then having to pay for it. It just is running through credit card. So, all of that. And then obviously payroll. So it is a mix of everything that we can to make sure we're capturing all expenses.
I think probably the biggest thing is missed costs, right? Like that trip to Home Depot, or the surprise, or just the workflow's not there. What what has been the process for capturing those costs for you and your clients?
Anything that we receive, especially because there are the majority of our bills are from subcontractors or large material orders. So those we're typically getting the bill because those are ones we have to turn around and pay. And obviously our vendors or subcontractors are very on top of making sure we have their bill. For the miscellaneous stuff like what you mentioned and any other kind of expense that lands on a credit card, because we're monitoring all of our clients' bank feed, we're able to see what we have a receipt for and what we don't have a receipt for when we're processing that bank feed. So on the day before, or at least once a week, we go to our clients and say, here are expenses through these individual accounts that we have seen clear, but we don't have a receipt, so we don't know how to book them. So it's up to our clients. And most of our clients have either project manager or job super that's in charge of that. They should be able to provide us that information, send us a receipt. Sometimes it's like, I've got a lot of pictures of men's jeans as they're driving in the truck.
And feet?
Yeah, the receipt's there, and you can see the junk on the floor, or probably the other receipts that I've asked for that are underneath his feet. Those are conversations that we have with our clients on a weekly basis at minimum. Anything that they do not provide to us, it goes immediately into an Ask Client account. And then we're communicating with our clients through, we use Double for our task management and for our client platforms. And so they're able to go into their platform and see that we've sent them a request saying, this came through, you haven't told me what job it needs to go to. Typically we'll wait 2 weeks before we put it into that account for the Ask Client, but I won't wait if it's over a certain amount and we are doing like T&M with them, because we want to make sure that we're capturing that expense and therefore that reimbursement to them for their clients.
How frequently do you because what I'm gathering from what you're saying is that part of your engagement with clients like this is for you and your team to help manage the expense process.
Yeah.
How frequently does that get reviewed? Is that a daily thing for you and your team, or is it routine, or does it depend based on the client?
It does vary based off of our client. We are in the bank feed. I'm more of a keep up than catch up kind of person. So I would much rather spend 5 minutes, if that's all that is work needing to be done from a transactional booking and review standpoint in the bank feed on a daily basis for all of our clients, than get in the day before that we have to generate invoices and be like, oh my gosh, look at all this stuff we have. So those are all set up to, at minimum, we're doing it 2 to 3 times a week. We're not waiting for a massive amount to have to go in and do it. I want it taken care of. And I want our clients to have that consistency and communication from us as well. The more they actually hear from us, the more likely they're eventually going to just try to give us as much as we need, so they really can cut that
Right.
back.
Yeah. How many times do you reach out before they get annoyed with hearing from you? Like,
I have a few that don't seem to have a limit. That's when I get out my like text messages that do have like little burning fires with the outline of a butt, or I'll threaten to not pay them. I'm going to withhold your paycheck.
there you go. Extortion.
I
Uh,
mean, you have to get creative.
it'd be a shame if something happened to your paycheck.
That's right. Whoops, it went into my account.
I don't know how that happened. All right. And
Just
what?
kidding, by the
So,
way.
have you ever seen that there is projects that were assigned to the wrong project, or project expenses that were assigned to the wrong project, or how do you ensure that they're categorized appropriately? Because you have the ones where it's no ones that are empty, but what if they're categorized but put to the wrong one?
So we're performing, at least on a week or biweekly basis. We're doing the invoicing, which we require our clients to manually review and approve before we send them out, or they're able to capture it through the job reports that we're generating. So some of them might stand out to us internally, because when I'm booking it and I can pull up that job report for that client of theirs and be like, it's weird because we didn't even quote at all doing an outdoor kitchen. I don't see an estimate for that, but that's what this bill is for. But I do know on this other job, that's what we're doing. So I can go to our client and say, we received this bill, it referenced this job, but maybe it's meant for this house instead. I just wanted to verify with you.
Okay.
Um,
So that's really the checkpoint or the guardrail that you have in place, is that before something goes out to a customer, there is someone at the company that is doing the approval, that has their sign of a seal of approval stamp on that before it even goes out. So they'll potentially catch it on the invoice, or seeing the job costing report and going, we didn't even do anything for this one this week. Why is there a huge expense?
yeah. Why is my electric 5 times what it was supposed to be for this project? Yeah.
All right. So that's a good best practice, so that those things don't get past the point of no return.
Yeah.
And then
And they're
as
good
far,
extra steps to take. We're not going to know. We're relying on our vendors, we're relying on our clients' vendors, and we're relying on our clients and their staff to give us the direction. But we internally can take some extra steps to kind of, stuff like that could really throw you off. And so having the job reports up and that having that estimate versus actual for the jobs that are active for that client while you're doing the processing of these bills and the receipts, that's just taking that extra step so that you're capturing it and then sending it to your client, and then they're like, oh, Thank you so much for catching that. There's a little bit more of an appreciation of what we're doing for them because we were able to capture something that was a potential big error.
Got it. Now, when we talk about cost codes and setting up the products and services items to capture your cost codes properly in prior workshops, that then gets used on expense transactions as items or in the product services area. But of course, we know that there is a section for just putting it right to the account. Is there a, a best practice as far as using one or the other, or does it matter? Or which do you find is where things go off the rails if you use one of those or the other?
When you book an expense directly to an expense account or even directly to a cost of goods account, because you're generating an invoice off of that, when you go generate your invoice, it's actually going to be blank. No information comes over and it's not going to record or report properly because it's not set up to be something that is meant to be billed. Because in QuickBooks, it's either yes, I have billable or no. It will still allow you to perform that function because we're generating invoices, but it doesn't allow, there's not like a, hey, don't do this because when you go to generate this invoice, the information, there's no cost code because that's what invoices pull from is our cost codes. So nothing generates there, the note, anything. It definitely is best practice to, if you're going to have cost codes, use your cost codes and only use your cost codes.
Yeah, because there's a preference and a setting inside of QuickBooks to count reimbursable expenses as income. But the challenge there is that's one account, right? You're only going to be specifying one account for all of your revenue reimbursed expenses.
And then you can't dive into that. You can't do an estimate versus actual off of that. So that to me is if actually we've never even used that. I have small tool. I'll create a cost code for a lot of my clients because that.
Oh, we lost you mid sentence.
I said the waiter waiting for the host to join. That was weird. I'm
Odd.
back. I just completely lost my train of thought.
Thanks, Restream. Maybe it was Chat GPT smiting us
Oh
for
no.
talking about
Or the word is out. We
negatively.
put him down. What was I talking about again?
We were talking about the using the cost codes or using the reimbursable expenses setting.
Oh, yes. The you can't pull an estimate versus actual off of that, so you're not truly able to job cost properly. I was also saying that the majority of my clients, because everybody in construction, they all want, they have got this punch list, which is just like miscellaneous materials that at the end of the job, they're finishing up, they're cleaning up, and oh, we've got this, we've got that. So all of their runs to Home Depot for touch-up paint or for some shims, right? Everything just goes to punch list. And so we have that miscellaneous thing, or I call it punch list or small tools that are purchased specifically for jobs. So there are things too that will get left behind with that job, right? That's a cost code. Not an expense. And so it is technically for some people going to be considered an expense if you have a small tool that you're purchasing and reusing through multiple jobs. But if you're leaving that tool because it was for something specifically that client asked you to install, you can run it through there and then you're just leaving. It would still be a cost of goods.
Like you said something that kind of perked up my ears. Like you, for the job costing that you do with your clients, you wouldn't even bother with that setting inside of QuickBooks for the reimbursable, tracking the reimbursable expenses. Is there any company or any workflow where that is an option. I'm sure in your mind, like, why do we even have that setting? Because I'm never going to use it. But is there a use case for someone to use that setting of tracking reimbursable expenses as income,
Honestly,
homogenizing the?
I think I think because we're such detailed people with how, because of job costing being a big part of what we do, and that it means that I need to see the nitty gritty. I need to see the very down to the individual receipt details. I I think not, but because it doesn't give you a big enough picture for you to track properly.
Yeah, yeah. Because if you don't have that setting turned on, and you're using expenses on booking it directly to the expense account on the expense type transaction, two strikes against you if you're using Shauna uh, for your accounting help. If you are using that and you book that, you bill that back to your customer, and you're not using the income, what's going to happen is it's going to post the revenue as a negative expense,
Yeah.
which would be like a third strike against you if Shauna was in your.
Yes.
Because
Three
how are you
strikes,
going to
you're
do
out. You're in
accurate
baseball
income?
now.
You're not going to get your actual, income and expenses per customer or per job when you're tracking expenses that are billed back to the customer as negative expenses.
Even for myself within my own firm, when I am, so year end, I have clients that reach out to us with the beginning of the year. I have clients that reach out and say, hey, Shauna, can you help refile my reinstatement or good satisfaction filing for the states? Right. So I'll go in, we'll process that really easily for our clients, and then we'll provide them with that. Even that, I have individual cost codes set up so that when those expenses hit my account, I mark them billable, put them right to the client. And then when we're generating invoices, all of those expenses get picked up when we send that invoice out to our clients. And what's really nice too about that functionality through QuickBooks is that you could actually then attach all of those receipt images to the invoices that you're sending. So if you are a contractor that provides that receipt image back up to the client, it's nice and easy to do that. Obviously, I want to be able to do it to justify, hey, you paid me $300 to file this state certification for you. So here's your copy of the receipt. Here's your good standing certificate.
So you practice what you preach.
Yeah.
By doing your own cost codes, right? So
I do.
drinking your own champagne or eating your own dog food. I don't know what. We got all sorts of.
I love a good champagne.
All right. So what about purchase orders and using that in the workflow of capturing costs and such as that? What talk about your best practices with purchasing?
Purchasing, the majority of my clients, actually, none of my clients use purchasing within QuickBooks. It just wasn't really clean enough and didn't have that sort of stacked review and approval process that we needed. Although now that's changed a lot with the advanced version. But with the majority of our clients that have that process in place, we use a third party product with them for job costing. So whether it be Builder Trend or Job Tread or, oh my gosh, what's the other one out there that just completely escaped? Notify.
Oh yeah.
Those services all have great controls over it, and it's better for the client. And they integrate really easily from a simplicity standpoint, because if I've got that information in there, I don't also need it in my QuickBooks. So I have them all set up. So it's only once it's approved and verified by both the vendor and whether it's the supervisor or the project manager for those jobs, that it was done to satisfaction. It gets approved by both, and then it pushes over into our QuickBooks as a bill.
Excellent. So now let's move over to like reimbursed expenses, right? Let's talk about what that is to begin with when we're talking a reimbursed expense, not just the reimbursed expense with to the business, but reimbursed expense to the person purchasing. So this could be, talk about the different scenarios where that could occur, and then we'll talk about what we do, how we handle that.
This happens quite frequently, where they forgot their card or they used their on accident instead of the company, right? And I say on accident because we all do that so that we get the points. So I know specifically, I've got one client he always forgets, and I'm like, it's because he wants the points for himself, right? Not for us as my client to get it. So
Right.
I completely get it, but we deal with that one a lot. And so we actually handle that. It's a little bit more challenging because we're job costing something that we are reimbursing. But I basically have set up, which is similar to how I handle returns that are done through not through a credit card, because in credit card expenses, our credit card credits can be made billable. But if I've got a return of money that went directly into my bank account from a transactional standpoint, I can't make that deposit billable so that I give credit back for that refund to my clients for the jobs, which if we're doing T&M, I want to be able to do that. So I actually have a dummy credit card account set up for all of my clients who accidentally have this happen a lot, or for the purpose of refunds versus credit card returns if they're doing T&M. And so I use that, and then I just do a journal entry to offset it, the actual bank account where it posts, but for me to make it billable and track that expense properly, I run it through our dummy credit card account.
Now, that's a dummy in terms of the credit card, not any kind of commentary on the user of the credit card.
Sometimes they overlap. No, absolutely. Just from a do not use, it should always essentially be zero.
Right. So it's just, and you could have this, you can make the same case for commingling of funds. They, just as you had mentioned, on accident,
Yes.
I use my own personal account, or they do it on purpose where, okay, I am contributing to the business and you want to handle it that way. We lost Shauna again. Where'd she go?
Is it me?
I don't know. I, you,
I am showing perfect bars on my side. This is so frustrating.
not sure where you keep running off to, and you have the shortest bio breaks ever known. Anyway, so apologize for the technical issues. Maybe this is part of the Cloudflare outage recovery from yesterday.
We're gonna go with that.
We'll go with that. Yeah. So we talked about reimbursable expenses. We talked about using purchasing, and potentially some of these things are outside of the realm of QuickBooks, because QuickBooks is the shallow end of the pool when it comes to a lot of these things, right? So how do you catch and fix costs that were posted to the wrong process, or what's your checkpoint in place to make sure that those things are categorized appropriately or fixing mistakes?
We invoice our clients. I don't wait for month end or statement drop. I'd like to make sure that we are capturing everything, especially because of how much data, depending on how many active jobs our clients might have, we might have a couple of hundred transactions by month end. So for me, it's just easier to make sure that we are staying on top of everything by doing week ending or week beginning reconciliations for our clients. So whether
So
it's an
you,
actual true rec with that hard date in there, or for some of them, because the job counts might fluctuate, we'll put the date in, put what that balance should be, and then check it, and then leave it there, and then update it again and push it till it's month end, depending on what we're feeling, I guess.
so you're a couple things that I heard you say that I think just encapsulates the best practice of this is that keeping up rather than catching up. So being on the front end of it as opposed to waiting until month or weeks or months go by and we need
Yeah.
to we need to fix this, or and in conjunction with that, setting up approval processes so that someone at the business takes the burden of the responsibility when there is something that is going to ultimately be their customer facing. Would you say that's pretty much the two best practices? If somebody had, I need just two things to walk away from this workshop with, would those be it, or would there be another
With
Shaunaism?
me, it would be probably 100 more. But for, yes, I would say those are definitely the two best. I think that um, keeping up is how you give your clients the best feedback on how they're doing. If you're always a month behind, you're not just a month behind on the information that you're giving to them. Now, who's going to remember that Lowe's trip at the beginning of the month? What job is that? I don't know. Just put it to anything. That's always like the fallback answer from some of our clients. And so years ago, I implemented that we won't allow transactions to continue to go or it will jeopardize their relationship with us. So if you want us to continue to support you, you have to be proactively involved and you have to provide this feedback. Otherwise, our we're here to try to give you the information you need to make it so that you're profitable individually by job, but also overall as a company. So input and being there, having your clients be a part of that is essential.
Yeah. And is there a report or a tool that you use that is your go to tool to make sure that you catch all of these or catch most? There's never nothing's foolproof because fools are so ingenious. But
Yeah, there's a saying. I'll do bleep, but you put bleep in, you get bleep out. I would say that 9 out of 10 times, if we've missed something that should be billable, it's probably because we might have had a client rushing through and just did one of those passive things that just says, put it to this, and didn't put it to a job or anything. So there's always going to be issues or things that occur, or maybe we're processing bank feed and we miss something, but 9 out of 10 times, luckily right now, right, bank feed has not been great with the AI. So that will be a transaction that does stand out to me. But I pull reports on a week ending basis. When we reconcile, we're reconciling transactions that are missing vendors. We're reconciling transactions that got booked maybe differently than in previous times. We're reconciling anything that was booked to COGS but didn't have a job assigned to it. So we're not just reconciling ending balances of what's in QuickBooks to what the bank is showing us. We're diving in a little bit more to make sure we're capturing everything for the client.
right, and you mentioned something. Just it went away. I'm sorry.
It was that
I had
memorable.
a follow up question, and it just it came in. It went out as soon as it came in. Is there a tool or report that you use as Shanna's Bible of job costing for client X? You know what it is? Is it double? Is it? Is there a report in QuickBooks that you start with?
They were all custom reports in QuickBooks, and then Double was like, I could do that. Actually, we do that. It is a part of our month end closing process every single month. And I was like, sign me up. But yes, now it is because of Double added on to those custom reports client we have. So we've got reports that auto pool that we've programmed into Double that will, if we have a client that has 4 different companies and they all roll up underneath one, we know we need intercompany reconcile. So we're able now to have that report auto generate and be a part of that month ending process. And it doesn't have to be a part of month end process, because those things, like I said, we go in and we do reconciliations at week ending or week beginning, and those reports will still be there. They'll still provide you that information, and then you, through your client portal, you can request receipts, all that. So it has been a game changer for us, for sure.
I remember what slipped away. So you
You remember
mentioned
my memorable comment?
yes, transactions that don't have payees. That's something that you do to double check. What is the importance of having a payee on every transaction? I can only imagine a couple of the answers, but I want to hear from your perspective.
Obviously, as a double check to make sure that we have, if it is a Home Depot and it doesn't have that vendor name, that means we didn't probably process it with the receipt, and we likely processed it directly through bank feed, which is not a bad thing, but it could mean that potentially it was processed on accident and therefore maybe not captured as it should have been as a billable expense back to our client. I have vendor names in all of our clients for pretty much everything, even inter-account transfers, profit first transfers, because we're a profit first firm. So the allocations, they all have, we don't use the transfer function. We're not using the credit card credit function. Everything is being booked so that it has that associated vendor name to it, and it's all deposit and an expense in and out of accounts, so that we're able to easily track, and if we have to, easily then able to modify it how it's booked from an account standpoint.
I think one of the side parts of that is you got to put a payee or a name on every transaction, or at least you should. What about things that, like, one-off transactions, like when they go on travel, for example, and they eat at a restaurant that they're never going to eat to again? What is do you homogenize some of these vendors in order to do that, or do you just add them
All
specifically?
restaurants are called restaurant vendors. All gas stations are called gas vendors. We've got clients that live in cities where they're constantly having parking charges. So it's parking vendors. And then all travel is just travel vendors, and it's either booked to a travel expense or to travel meals.
Because if they go, what's the difference if they go to Marriott or, or
Or
Hilton?
right. Then you're cheating on Hilton, but I get Marriott has better price.
Paris will be upset with you.
Oh
But
gosh, darn it.
all right. Any any final thoughts that you want to add about this topic of capturing costs the right way?
No, I think it's just being thorough. I think that, I guess I'll just put out there too, that if you guys do have any individual questions on the setup process of these things, that you're just looking for some information on, maybe you've got a client now that you have a sort of question that this might relate to, I'm happy to answer some questions. However, if it's through my email, through the company, or through the link here with the video.
Absolutely. So you can always ask questions in the comments. and we'll be able to address them there if you don't mind a public answer. So don't put your client's P&L in the comments of there, otherwise won't be financially homogenized talking about the access to the machines. I did put the QR code for the B4CG. Just remind everyone what that is and how we are ultimately looking to work together.
Yes. Sorry, I was just, the pop-up for the chat came up, Dan, and it says on there, and it says, oh, like at the moment where I dropped out.
Yeah.
Sorry, I got distracted. That was really funny. It's also one of those ones that you're like, oh, again.
So talk about the B4CG and how that's coming along so far.
Yes, I am so excited. Since the Intuit Connect, I think like other than getting to hang out with Dan some more, I got some, had some great introductions, and from there it's just grown. And so the number of individuals I've had, business owners, to reach out regarding potential partnerships to be able to sort of expand network, expand the community, expanding resources for our accounting professionals, and vice versa for trade business owners has just been so awesome. You could probably tell because my voice is starting to give up. I've never talked this much, like professionally, in a really long time. Probably since I worked in an office last over 11 years ago. But it's just been, the response has been really amazing, and I'm super excited. It does mean that the hard, like big go live has been slightly delayed because of the new stuff that I'm trying to get added onto our portals to make it so that all these new resources and discounts and stuff available now to our accounting professionals can easily be linked between everybody. But we are looking at potentially a 12/1 sort of soft go live where I'll be doing some enrollment for accounting professionals. And I'm really excited. I can't say the name yet because we haven't officially signed a partnership agreement between our two platforms, but I've got a really amazing CAS platform that reached out. So we're actually working on developing a firm level membership as well. So the other three platforms are specifically for independent accounting professionals. And then this one is going to be specifically for firm levels of small to medium, so that we can join forces and help train a firm's staff on how to job cost, but also how to also offer those high level CAS services to them as well.
Excellent. Next week, we're not going to be live, but there will be a live workshop. Shanna and I are going to live record it, and then we will replay it next week. So that's going to be about the labor, time, and payroll mapping. If you have questions, no one's going to answer them, but we will play it at our normal time. So it will appear as if it's a live workshop, but it actually will be pre-recorded.
And hopefully no glitches. Like
yeah, hopefully Shanna won't be leaving and coming back through the revolving door of what we have here.
Terrible.
Yeah. Appreciate you joining us today, and we will look forward to seeing you live in a couple weeks, but look for us next week where we talk about labor, time, and payroll mapping in our continuing job costing series. Hopefully everybody has a great week and a great Thanksgiving.
Happy holidays, everybody. Gobble, gobble.
And that wraps up another insightful episode of Workshop Wednesday, brought to you by Schoolofbookkeeping.com. We hope you enjoyed today's discussion and took away some valuable tips and strategies to enhance your bookkeeping practice. Remember, if you want to stay ahead in the world of bookkeeping and accounting, be sure to visit Schoolofbookkeeping.com. With a wide range of courses, resources, and expert guidance, you'll find everything you need to sharpen your skills and boost your career. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast on your favorite platform so you never miss an episode. And if you enjoyed today's show, please take a moment to leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. Your reviews help us reach more listeners and continue to bring you the best content every week. If you have questions or topics you'd like us to cover, reach out to us on social media or send us an email at support@schoolofbookkeeping.com. We love hearing from our listeners and are always looking for new ideas to explore. Thanks for tuning in to Workshop Wednesday. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep excelling in your bookkeeping journey. I'm Dan DeLong, and we'll see you next week.